Hello, my friends. My name is Gerdes, and these are the four big stories today. So Latvia plans to soon send a first batch of drones to Ukraine worth €1 million, and that's pretty significant. They've already stepped up to the tune of 372 million. We're working with the drone coalition so that Latvia joins, so that drones are manufactured that will be sent to Ukraine very soon. We plan to have the first drones worth €1 million in Ukraine. Okay, second story. Well, before I go on to that, where is Latvia? For those of you who aren't familiar with it, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, then Belarus, and Ukraine in that order. The Baltic states are very pro-Ukrainian because they remember what it was like to be forced into the Soviet Union against their will. Okay, next story, Ukraine's AI drone gamble. So as drones have developed, so have counter-drone technology. So one side does one thing and the other tries to one-up it, and then one-up it and one-up it. So they're jamming drones. They're able to do that or throw off the satellite ability. Well, now we've gotten to the point that we're using machine AI learning. With machine vision, the object is for the drones to find its way independently to its target, having learned to distinguish where it is given the terrain. The main goal is to sever the dependence on communication between the drone and the operator, the drone with a satellite for navigation. Using a drone that can strike a target without any guidance from an operator completing a mission, even with jamming, has obvious battlefield advantages when counter-drone technology is everywhere. But the same technology can be used against Ukraine too when Russia figures out how to do it. So it's going to, and it will get very bad. I mean, it's already bad, but it's going to get very bad for Ukraine when AI shaheeds are on the move. Okay. Next, this was really interesting. There's a reason you haven't heard the White House bash Johnson's Ukraine aid ideas. So I thought about it after I read the first two paragraphs. I thought, isn't that right? You don't necessarily have a lot of moments. You kind of hear the same thing again and again. Listen to this. Aides to President Joe Biden have been privately working behind the scenes to ensure House Speaker Mike Johnson can put $60 billion aid package for Ukraine up for a vote and survive it politically. This is what's important here. All politicians understand that the other politicians want to stay in power, right? So they haven't been, and I thought about this, I was like, yeah, that's right. You haven't heard a lot of strong words about, that jerk Mike Johnson, he's not really doing what he's supposed to be doing. Like they've been soft pedaling it because they want him to actually put something forward that is going to be able to get to Ukraine. The White House has maintained contact with Johnson's office about Ukraine aid throughout Congress's 2-week recess, according to two administration officials. And while the president has publicly pressured House Republicans to pass the Ukraine aid package, so not Johnson, he's pressured like, come on, Republicans, you need to do whatever. He and his team have held off on aggressively attacking the speaker over the drawn-out process for getting it passed. You see the difference here? So they could be doing that. They could be going for the jugular, but they're not. Instead, they've sought to give Johnson breathing room as he leads a fractious GOP caucus with an ever-shrinking majority, and that is where he is. For all of their frustration with the painstakingly slow pace in the House, administration officials are privately hopeful that their approach could result in Congress starting to move on an aid package later this month. So I think they're at the place where most of us are. It's like, okay, whether it's $60 billion that you give or whether you turn into a loan, just get the stuff there now. You got to get it out now. What the final package looks like remain unclear. Democratic officials who have talked with administration say that White House has been deliberately private about whether it views either idea as realistic or likely to end up in a final deal. So they're saying that. So I think that's really fascinating and really telling about like how much the administration wants this to go forward, because they could be just playing politics with Mike Johnson as well, saying, see, he's the cause of the problem. He's doing this, he's doing that, and they're not doing that. And that's a very positive sign that they're trying to work together or not work together, that's the wrong term. Allow the space for him to work out with his own caucus because he has a real significant problem with his caucus. While we're at that, I want to also add this. I saw this in the Kyiv Independent, and here's the actual story in the Kyiv. This was on Twitter, but I saw the actual story in the Kyiv Independent. Why some far-right Republicans are hell-bent on ending further aid to Ukraine. I thought, well, let's hear what it has to say. Shortly after the start of the full-scale war, 79% of U.S. voters supported sending arms to Ukraine, and 78% supported sending financial aid. So almost 80% of Americans supported this, according to polling by Ipsos conducted in March 2022. 2 years of grueling fighting later, U.S. support for Ukraine has dropped significantly, but a majority of Americans, almost 60%, 58%, still want their country to send weapons and money to Ukraine to aid it in its war effort. However, dig into the numbers some more and some troubling trends emerge, and they run along party lines. Now, this shouldn't be a political issue. It should be like, hey, the democracy here, that authoritarian government shouldn't be knocking over this democratic republic and what's going on, but it is. While support among Democrats for arming Ukraine has dropped from 83% to 75%, so there's a bit of a drop in 2 years, among Republicans it has plunged from 80% in March 2022 to just 45% in February of 2024. So it's almost halved. But look at this, 45 of 80. So better than half still support it in Republican land. Okay, so I want you to be aware of that, because too often I see things like, well, like this. Crazy, this even needs to be said by an ally, but here we are. We're burning the trust of our allies because of the combination of, and we are hurting the trust with our allies because of a combination of bizarre choices by the administration and Republicans blocking aid in Congress. Well, but it's not all Republicans. There's certain Republicans that are involved here, and that's the problem. And Mike Johnson is one of those certain Republicans who is blocking the aid. So Jake Bro does a good job making that distinction. I think he was a little more heavy-handed on all Republicans, and over time he started saying MAGA Republicans, MAGA this, MAGA that, MAGA Mike, those kind of things. And that's an important distinction to make. MAGA Republicans are doing whatever they're doing. It's not all Republicans. I put this out on Twitter a few days ago. I'm grateful to those of you who make distinctions between Republicans and MAGA Republicans in regard to Ukraine. Many Republicans are frustrated by our party's leadership in regard to Russian genocide of Ukrainians. Many of us stand with Ukraine. So if you're the type that's out there just cursing Republicans are bad, Republicans are this or that, note that more than half of us stand with Ukraine. We're a different type of Republican, and we want to see Ukraine succeed. Okay. On the other hand, there was folks like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's not in that camp, and she was on Tucker Carlson, and I asked in a poll, would you want to watch this if I do a review of it? Mercifully, most of you do not want to watch it by a 60-40 margin, so I can put that one to bed and not have to watch it myself. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene talking about a week ago.
Our government at the same time is funding a war that most people do not support in a country that no one can find on a map hardly. And
no one can find on a map, Marjorie. It's right here. I mean, this isn't hard. If you're paying at all any attention, this is a pretty easy thing. Okay, anyway, last story here. About a week ago, I saw Jake Bro talk about Joe Bloggs had his YouTube channel hacked and stolen. When I saw that, I said, okay, please help. And then I put out a video talking about it and explaining what was going on. Well, he's gotten everything back. He's got the whole thing back. If you just type in Joe Bloggs, you'll go down to this. The symbol from the hacking group is still there, but here's his 360,000 viewers. Now, over a week, he got 25,000 subscribers to come back to his other channel as a default mechanism just in case. But yeah, he got his whole thing back. So he put a video out talking about what happened and giving the full story, and I just want us to listen to him for about a minute.
All the time, and really you need to put things into perspective. So that really helped me to get through that period. But the thing that really helped me was all of the support that I received. And I mentioned it earlier in the video, but Jake Bro was really helpful. Jake's somebody that I know through YouTube. We had some correspondence a long time ago. He invited me to appear onto his channel. He does a Q&A with various YouTubers. He invited me probably around 18 months ago. That didn't actually work out, but potentially I might do that now because Jake was really helpful. He put up a message on his homepage about what was happening and encouraged people to come over and join Joe Blogs 2.0. And off the back of that, Darren from Professor Gerdes also posted 2 videos, and he reached out to me, sent me some emails, and it was really helpful because I could see that other people were wanting to help me. But you guys, my followers, my subscribers, my supporters, really helped to carry me through this.
Yeah, it's a really bad feeling, I would imagine, if you lose 360,000 subscribers. But they're back. He's restored. He can go on and do awesome videos, and we're very happy for you, Joe. And to all of you who helped contact YouTube and just let them know what was going on, I'm very appreciative of you for being the kind of person that was willing to step up and help them. Thank you for that. Thank you for the likes, the shares, the subscribes, the coffees, and thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.